Your mom was an opera singer, your dad was a pianist, vocalist, producer, so on. And, not many people seem to know about that side of the thing, which I believe you're keen to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if we going back, what I mean, I said like for me, like like I said, a lot of people know, my brother J Dilla, rest in peace. Very prolific music producer, and he's put in hip hop, but he's a genius music producer. You know what I mean? But even that goes back to my father, which is actually something I rarely get to talk about. Like my dad, like how he met my mom literally is through. So my dad would develop artists back in the day, kind of artist development, but he didn't really he wasn't getting paid for it or nothing like that. It's just like he just really had an interest in working with artists like, ooh, you have a dope voice. Let's write something. Let's perform together. So it's like I still have that in me till still today. You know what I mean? And that's actually how I like people like Harley is that same kind of thing where I feel like like from my dad in a sense. So but that's actually how my dad met my mom, and pretty much my dad was a songwriter back in the day in the doo-wop days and stuff. So everything like that I know from obviously I listen to a lot of Motown, but everything I know, my ear and everything is really just like from my dad. Like his favorite singer was Sam Cooke. I even have a song Sam Cooke. It's actually literally tribute to my dad. So yeah, my dad was like he's like the biggest foundation in my music, and that and being in church actually like all like that combined was like my musical foundation coming up. And then rap just happened to be the popular thing that was, what I mean? As growing up, rap was getting bigger and bigger. So it's almost like I was actually going to sing more on my first record. And then the label kind of influenced me to like, no, man, you should rap more. You know what I mean? So yeah, but that's kind of like in a nutshell, like, like my foundation, honestly, like my father plays a big part in that.
I was speaking to Daryl earlier, and he said something about a big song that was out there that your dad apparently wrote and wasn't credited for publicly.
Yeah, it's a shame about the Spinners. And if you heard my dad write songs, like obviously this is one of those things where if you go and ask someone, like, hey, did someone ghostwrite your song? Obviously, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to say, yeah, he wrote it. You know what I mean? Like that's the point. I paid you to say you didn't write it. You know what I mean? So obviously, you're never going to find that type of stuff. But yes, my dad wrote that song like on the organ at home. Maybe my dad might look back and like, dang, maybe I should have just took my credit. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things, learning lessons like in the industry. Yeah.
Could it have been different, like ghostwriters getting the credit and getting the respect and being remembered for what they did?
It's just what it is. It's a marketing power in that they can kind of throw at you and say, hey, well, because my name is on here, it's going to sell this many records all right away. And it's like it's hard to argue that, but it's up to you as a songwriter to say, okay, I'll keep that for myself, or skip it. I'll take this little credit, or what I mean. It's still up to you at the end of the day to make that decision. There's never a situation where you just have to absolutely give it up. You know what I mean? But I mean, sometimes it's not an ego thing. Sometimes it's just more like I don't mind people like I'm like content with knowing I wrote it and someone gets to they're famous for that, because again the fame thing is overrated. Like everyone wants everyone to know their name, and it's like it's not necessarily a healthy thing.